safety and welfare is held higher than the liabilities that the city of Detroit has. And I'm wondering what plan there is in place to bring more police and bring more public employees to our city to provide these services and also keep these jobs valuable. And additionally, and if there are more cuts, at what point does the cuts infringe on the rights and safety of the citizens to those services?
Okay, that's a good question. Congratulations and welcome to the practice.
Not yet.
Do the practice exams. Whatever you do the practice exams. Okay, go over and over again. Mr. Schultz, your question is really twofold, which is one, that the priorities put the health, safety, and welfare higher than the obligations, and that's the reason I adopted that priority. I think that's inherent in both 436. It's also inherent in Chapter 9. It's also what the city needs. Your second question was when you're going to get more people. You know, the city has reduced FTEs 2,300 in their meetings administration. We're about as cut as we could get. The question isn't necessarily more people because of several reports I've had. We actually per capita are more staffed than many other cities of our size, Columbus, Ohio, and others of our size and our nature. So we may have the right FTEs. The question would be getting them in the right slot and getting them to work the right way, which may be part of our obligation to workers. So I'm not sure we need more people. We may need to work a little bit smarter.
Hello, Mr. Orr. My name is Stu Jackson. I'm a UAW Ford employee, and my wife, Rochelle, she's a city retiree. And her question is, what is going to happen to the city employees' pensions? That's her concern. My concern is the crime in the city of Detroit. What kind of plan do you have to help us to get these streets back in order?
Two questions, pensions and crime, and both are important. You're concerned, that's your son? So your wife and your mother? Yes. You raised a very good son on your behalf. Pensions, first of all, the statute has a requirement that I, first of all, do an assessment of the funding levels of the pension. There's a nomenclature called unfunded actuarial liabilities, which just means how much money do you have based upon the expectations of years of time you're able to meet your pension obligations. Because if you don't, the city may have an obligation to true up those funds. We are completing that analysis now with one of the contractors on the city, and we'll be speaking to that later this week. All I can say to you now, without drawing a conclusion, because we aren't done, is that the state constitution and state case law says that vested pension rights are sacrosanct; they can't be touched. It doesn't necessarily say the same about OPEB, other employee liabilities, which is generally talked to as health care. So we have to do an examination of the funding levels because what happens flows from there. If the funding levels are less than 80%, then there is the opportunity for the treasurer to appoint a trustee for those pension funds to examine what went on and see if one is, to see if they are. If the funding level is at 80% or not, then maybe you don't do that. You just have to live within the requirements of the pension fund as anticipated in the future. So we're going to get there. Number two is crime. I'm very sensitive to the issue of crime. Before I came here, my 81-year-old mother, again, who lives alone, had her house broken into twice. And it took its toll on her. And it's the kid who lives 2 doors down. It's copying attitude. My first instinct was to go down there and tune him up a little bit, then I'd be in jail, right? So I can't do that. So we filed reports, and the police came around, and nothing happened. He walks down the street smiling, knowing exactly what it is. He's broken into 5 homes on the street. This is a street I grew up in. It's a nice middle-class street, doctors, teachers, lawyers, all that kind of stuff. And now this one family is terrorizing. These retired teachers, doctors, and all in their 80s, octogenarians, all living a wonderful life, raising their kids. So I'm highly sensitive to this issue. And the fear, she's afraid to go home tonight. My sister doesn't either, because she's afraid to walk in her house. So I'm sensitive to it. One of the first things I did, and that's why I thought it was so important, to find a new chief, a change agent that has had opportunities and has had some measure of success in other environments on top of it. LA is a much bigger city and police force to deal with, and he's been participating there to assist the transition. As Chief Logan, who's retired for the second time, who's done a wonderful job maintaining the station, but moved the police department to a new era. And so far, he's received a lot of support from certain members within the force. So the first thing is leadership at the top that sets a standard and flows down. We've had these situations in other cities, and it's remarkable what leadership can do. So I say public health, safety, and welfare. That's one of the first things I want to get in place is a change agent. and support that process. So we're focusing on it. I will not micromanage that process. I am not a criminal law professional nor a policing professional. But I do expect someone who's had that experience and has a great deal of knowledge base going forward will seek this kind of change. And frankly, you know, in the past couple of weeks, this police force has shown us no. It surrounded a guy, 9 cars. He decided to shoot it out. We still have an officer recovered. Still. We've had him run into buildings at the Southwest. He gets shot at on a regular basis. Have him go in and investigate murders and deaths. I mean, these officers, you know, I'm not necessarily a sycophant, but I'm highly supportive of our men and women in blue because they do something I don't have to do. There's a shot and they run to it. Okay, that's a little different than the rest of us. So I want to give them the support and acknowledge their sacrifice and effort that they've done so they can be the police force that frankly they all want to be. Yes, ma'am. Sure.